Hello Drive Radio fans, Richard Rush here today with Walt McLean behind the camera. And today we're going to review the 2016 Ford Mustang. This is the GT Premium Coupe model. They do have a convertible model, 5 other trim levels including the GT Premium. I'm not going to really get too much into those today. Going to focus on this model. This also has the special California special package on it. So I know I said special like 5 times there. It's the California special package, only available on the GT Premium model. Really kind of add some different accents to it. Few quick things before we get started in our review. Most of you guys noticed that the Mustang was remodeled after last year. So there's not a whole lot of changes for 2016. The biggest one that you're going to see is some exterior style or kind of trim pieces that they've added, as well as the new Sync 3 infotainment system rather than the My Sync or My Ford Touch system. In terms of what else is new, the GT models, which we have here, have integrated turn signals into the hood, which we'll show you in just a second. I mentioned the Sync 3 system. In that California special package, gives you the 19-inch black alloy wheels, a more prominent rear spoiler, and special exterior interior trim. So with that being said, let's take a walk around this beautiful car, and I'm just going to give you our opinion of it right off the bat. We think personally this car looks fantastic. Ford, you've done an excellent job on the lines on this vehicle. It looks tremendous. So with that being said, I mentioned before, 5 trim levels: the V6, the EcoBoost Premium, GT Premium. Most of you know, okay, this has got that nice big 5.0 on the side. What does that mean? Well, it's the 5-liter V8 underneath the hood, 435 horsepower. And this is the manual. It is available in the automatic as well. Mentioned before that you can get this in a convertible if you so saw fit. So again, you can kind of see some of that trim, the accents, again, part of these different packages that Ford has given you the options to along the side. Apologize about the shadows, early morning here in Colorado. You can talk about that, or you can see what we talked about here in terms of the more prominent rear spoiler. Definitely gives a little bit different look to the car. You get to the back end, and again, for the past several years, what Ford, and not only Ford, but the other manufacturers have done, going back to the older styling with some futuristic elements to it. So this also includes a couple great safety features on it. For the manual, you've got a hill start assist on it. You do have blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic. Real quick before we get into the trunk portion of this, I'm going to mention something about this car I think is one of its biggest selling points, and that's its price tag. So this car base price, as it sits with the V8, all the horsepower, everything you want in it, $36,395. It's got about $5,000 worth of options, which includes the Shaker Pro audio system with HD sound system, the 12-speaker audio. You've also got an enhanced security package, the $2,000 California special package, and the voice-activated navigation system. All of that, again, comes to $41,375 with a destination fee of $900, bringing this to $42,275. I say all that was saying, when we get into the front of this car, in the interior of this vehicle, you will notice how many features are on this car. And I can say, back in 2012, I owned a Camaro, 2012 Camaro SS, going to compare very similar to this vehicle. What they've done in terms of what Ford's done, we also drove a new Camaro a little while ago, and we'll talk about that in the opinion portion of it. In our opinion, really quick, Ford has given you the best bang for your buck, as you say. So now we're not going to get into the Shelby and the higher performance models. This is just kind of your base model, but just wanted to get that out of the way. I think personally you get a lot more bang for your buck with this model than you do with the other manufacturers. So with that said, got our key fob here. Gonna hit the twice, not an automatic trunk, but enough of it that you can just lift it open. As you get into the back here, you can see, honestly, it's a typical muscle car trunk. There's not a whole lot of space. 13.5 cubic feet in here. Obviously, the convertible is going to have less than that. You will notice there is no spare tire underneath here. There's just the the compressor kit right there. So you can store some other different things around here, some extra supplies, some food, whatever you may want to underneath that. You can store that. You will see this. The back seats can fold down. their back seats are not made for a long trip with full-size adults. We'll just be 100% honest with you in that. So for the most part, they're just designed for some smaller individuals, or just to be back there and help you lower those insurance rate. We mentioned before, again, that California special package is on here, which helps with the badging. With that being said, let's see if we can actually open this, and I'll see if I can't hop in. It's going to be a little bit easier lighting wise to see if I can hop in on this side. So we've got the ability to do that. Oh, and so there's a fold down right here that you can fold it down. Again, these are power seats, so you can push these forward right here. And I'm just going to show you what it's like to sit. You can see that we had Walt in the back, and Walt, I'm not sure if you can get this. I'm going to kind of hide the shadows or the sun the best I can. That seat's pretty much all the way back for Walt. Walt's about 6'4", so you can kind of tell where you need to be at. And we actually did have some passengers in here over the weekend. They were able to fit, although a little bit cramped. So I'm going to climb in, kind of pretzel my way in, you can say. I'll kind of lean forward, Walt, so everyone can see. If I were to bring, let's see here. If I were to bring this seat back, now this person can still come back a little bit. I could sit in here on occasion. However, I can tell you this, my head hits, and I'm not very tall. I'm only about 5'9", and my head is hitting here. So in order to make this work, I would have to lean back quite a bit, put my head to the side, something. So the back seats relatively cramped, so just something to note. I don't think Ford would argue that it's not, but maybe more suited for some kids rather than full-size adults. So something to note. With that being said, I won't bore you with me climbing out and kind of getting back into a pretzel. We'll have Walt come around to the other side. We'll show you the interior. Then we'll go do what this car's made to do, which is drive, and we'll give you our opinion of the 2016 Ford Mustang. All right, fans, before we hop into the interior, wanted to show you the front of this car, where we think it looks absolutely fantastic. As we mentioned before, nice sloping lines. They've just done an excellent job in our opinion. I know this is our opinion kind of piece of it, but just wanted to mention that the nice grille that Ford has done here, kind of the old style badging with the Mustang on the front, really is fantastic in our opinion. You can see the LED lights that they've given you. And actually, while we're doing it here, let's see if we can show them that turn signal. Let's see if it should go. So again, you've got the turn signal right here. Sorry, I've got the key in my pocket. That's why it's doing it. So you notice there's nothing turning right here, but you can see right up here in the front, right in the hood, you can see right there that the turn signal is flashing. You can actually see that from the driver's seat. It's nothing that's going to do anything for you other than knowing that your turn signal's on up front. Just a cool little added feature, I think, that Ford has done, just something they've added. So with that, I'm actually going to have Walt kind of walk around the back. The car is running. We're going to show you what it sounds like. Ford doesn't give you standard any sport exhaust or anything like that. So if you want to do that, you would have to be an extra or kind of an aftermarket add-on. But it still sounds, in our opinion, relatively good, I think. So I'm going to hop in and let you listen. So you can see, definitely a nice sound. I'll be honest, not quite as aggressive as some of the other muscle cars that are out there in terms of what comes stock from the manufacturer. I know there's also plenty of other options that you can kind of give it that beefier note that you're looking for. So with that being said, we'll have Walt come around to the side, show you the interior, then take a quick drive in the 2016 Ford Mustang. All right, fans, here we are for the interior portion, or front seat portion, I should say, 2016 Ford Mustang. Apologize about the lighting. We're going to do our best with it before we take our drive. So first, want to show you the door and what the nice kind of apportionments on the door look like. Some nice soft touch material, that nice kind of suede-like material. It isn't suede, but it feels kind of like it. Nice soft touch up along the door. Just really nice, honestly, kind of a nice feel to the vehicle. I've done a great job at kind of bringing, again, a two-tone look right here. You've got some nice soft touch, leather-like material right up here, as well as this nice, it's a plasticky metal kind of sort of a texture, but I think it looks good personally. As you kind of come into the cab here, you've got two nice sized cup holders. These are not the Recaro racing seats. If you do get that, you remove the heated and ventilated, which this car does have up here in the front. The manual I mentioned, you've got a tiny little console right here, not much to show you. You do have a lot of cool kind of old-time gauges right here to do your different selecting of your driving modes, and your steering right here. Traction control, your engine start stop is a push button right here, and then all of your climate is right in here, and then the Ford Touch system, or the Sync 3 system I should say, we mentioned right up here before. So with all that, there's not much else to say. The steering wheel controls are what you pretty much find standard on a Ford. Nothing else there. The gauges and such are really cool. It's really hard to show you that. I encourage you to go check it out at your local dealer. It's that old type of Mustang gauge. Really is cool. Gives you a nice feel in the vehicle. So with all that being said, let's pause the video and we're going to take a quick drive in the 2016 Ford Mustang. All right, fans, it's really tight, really cramped, so viewing angles aren't going to be the best in this. Before we get started, I do want to show you the rear view camera, which we can go into right here. It does have the dynamic grid lines, which we always like to see. Helps us out a little bit, so you can back up to a curb however you want to very easily without much of an issue. So that is available on this car. I believe it's standard even on the base models. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's kind of what I gathered. So with that, let's take a quick drive. We're going to see what this horsepower can do. As you can see, 435 horses, get you up and going. I don't have any 0 to 60 times. I apologize. You'll have to get that out and test it yourself, or read up on it. I'm sure Ford has got some nice specs for you. Overall, and we're going to apologize about that, we've got Walt unbuckled here because we're trying to get a better viewing here, so let's see if I can help him. As we kind of continue the drive, do want to say a few different things. As we mentioned before, Walt, I'm not sure if you can show that turn signal up there. That's something we normally don't show, but again, it's just a kind of nice little feature that Ford has added onto here. It probably wouldn't make me buy the car, not buy the car, just something to note. In terms of driving feel of this, the best way I know how to describe this is kind of go into our opinion portion, and that is, what do we think about this vehicle? Well, it drives the best of all the muscle cars that we've driven. Some people may disagree or agree with that or not. Like I mentioned before, we've driven Mustang, or we've driven the Camaro, we've driven the Challenger, this is actually our first Mustang in a while, and I can tell you this, that it feels the best. It feels like the best everyday car that you could possibly have of the muscle cars. You still got enough oomph, a little bit more of a power shot if you want the V8, but in our opinion, yes, it is a muscle car. You're still going to get some of the rough riding capabilities of it that you would expect, but honestly, that's about all you're going to get. Let's get it on the road here and give it a nice little get up and go. This car handles well. The engine works really, really well. The manual transmission is fantastic. It's very smooth. It's not too heavy of a clutch that you're going to get in it and stall it out for the first week. It really operates very, very smoothly. And I guess kind of back to what I was saying before in terms of how this car handles and operates, what I guess what we mean by that is, when you're in a, I'll be honest, when you're in a Camaro or Challenger, you kind of get beat up driving. And some people are going to argue with me and disagree with me. It's just kind of what we have noticed. In this car, you can drive this car to and from work. And here in Colorado, the only time you couldn't drive it is snow, rear-wheel drive, of course. You could drive this car to and from work every day and be just fine. And if you wanted to take it out on the track on the weekend, do a little bit more performance stuff, you have the capability of doing that. And so, in our opinion, Ford, and what you've done, and for those of you out there, you can take this for what it's worth, which for some of you may not be much. We think this is a fantastic car. It's got great body lines, really pretty. Some people are going to talk about not being able to see out of it. I can attest to you, you can see out of this car the best of the three. The Camaro you can't hardly see out of, and same with the Challenger. Challenger's a little bit better. The Mustang is by and far the first. Now, it's not great by any means. You are in a muscle car. You're short. You don't have a lot of wide open viewing angles, but you can see the best out of this vehicle. Horsepower-wise, I'm not sure how it stacks up. I can tell you maybe the Camaro is going to compete with this in terms of a straight line as well as handling corners. And then the Challenger, of course, is probably going to do really well in a straight line, not so well in the corner. So if you're in the market for one of those three, or you might even be in the market for something, say a BMW M2, something like that, a little bit maybe sporty luxury side on the European, this holds its own, especially for the price tag. This fully loaded, $42,000. Again, some of the luxury features that you've got are the heated and ventilated front seats. You've got the different track modes that you can put in here. This car's still a blast to drive while you can still be comfortable doing so. So Ford, 2 thumbs up from us. I'm sure there's a lot more to say. We could go on in this review for forever, for an hour plus, talking about all the different features and what we think about this car. I know my dad, he's not here with us at this point in time, but he mentioned to us that, or to me, I guess, that this is a fantastic car, one of his personal favorites that he drove for all the reasons that I mentioned before. So if you're interested in this car, take a test drive, head to your local dealer, test it out, see what the dealer has to say, see what you feel like in this car. Go test out the other manufacturers if you so wish. And if you do that, tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.